In this Lens Studio tutorial from Snap AR, we will walk you through the creation of a lens which allows Snapchatters to try on a hoodie and a fanny pack. After completing the tutorial, you will be able to create your own lenses that allow people to try on clothing and accessories. In this tutorial, you will learn key concepts for creating AR fashion lenses for virtual try-on, including using the full body mesh and 3D body tracker features, applying and customizing materials, using occluders to control visual layering, light estimation to add more realistic lighting, and if you watch to the end, we'll preview a few additional features to polish your lens and make it more interactive. Let's get into it. The first step to creating a fashion try-on lens is to decide what virtual clothing items you want Snapchatters to be able to try on. You can create and import your own 3D assets, import pre-created assets from an online marketplace, or use some of the provided assets from Lens Studio's asset library. In order to make this tutorial easy to follow, we've chosen a hoodie and fanny pack from Lens Studio's asset library. The core technology which makes a try-on lens possible is Lens Studio's use of external body mesh and its ability to detect the body shape of a person on camera and reshape your 3D garment to fit and follow their body using a body mesh reference. You will hear us refer to this as deforming. If you're importing your own assets, you need to match the body shape of your garment to the Snap Body Mesh reference model, which you can find via the asset library. Your mesh can be either in a T pose or an A pose. Your goal is to make sure that your virtual garment mesh fits the body reference as you would expect it to be worn, and to make sure that the geometry of the body mesh is not clipping through your garment. Let's search for and import the hoodie model from the asset library. Open the asset library and search for the Try-On pack and click View All to see all the assets in the pack. Mouse over the hoodie and click Import and import again on the resulting dialog to add the hoodie to your resources. Repeat this process for the fanny pack asset. With our assets imported, let's get them moving in Lens Studio. Start by adding a full body mesh. This creates a mesh asset which can be deformed by the full body tracking system. Click the plus icon in the resources panel and then type full body mesh in the dialog box to add a new full body mesh to our resources. Let's rename it to full body mesh hoodie. We'll set the external mesh property of the full body mesh to reference our hoodie. Use the triangle dropdown to view the meshes of the try-on pack hoodie asset and drag the hoodie mesh to the external mesh property. Set the mesh pose to A pose to match the pose of our hoodie mesh. The matching mode will default to proximity matching, which will automatically assign deformation weights to the vertices of your model. For more information, we provided a link to the documentation for preparing an external mesh in the video description. We now have a deformable mesh ready to be attached to the 3D full body tracked rig. Next, we'll add the 3D full body tracking object to the scene. We'll do this by clicking the plus icon in the Objects panel and searching for Object Tracking 3D Full Body Tracking. Select the new 3D Body Tracking 0 object and click the plus button to add the empty mesh as a child of it. Let's call this mesh hoodie. Select the new hoodie mesh and drag the full body mesh hoodie from the resources browser to the Render Mesh Visual mesh property of the hoodie object. Click Blend Normals to enable normal blending. Adding the hoodie mesh to the full body tracking object allows the hoodie to follow and deform to the body of the tracked Snapchatter. Great. We'll repeat the steps above to add the fanny pack as well. Create a new full body mesh for the fanny pack named Full Body Mesh Fanny Pack and add the fanny pack wide mesh to add a shoulder slung fanny pack. Under 3D Body Tracking 0, add a new empty mesh and rename it Full Body Mesh Fanny Pack. Drag the Full Body Mesh Fanny Pack from the resources to the Render Mesh Visual mesh property. Just make sure you hit the Blend Normals checkbox on the fanny pack as well. Now it's time to have some fun with adding some materials. Let's start assigning the accompanying material to the fanny pack. Select the fanny pack and in the Render Mesh Visual component, assign the fanny pack pink material to the Material 1 property. Next, let's grab a few existing materials from the asset library for the hoodie. Part of the fun of virtual fashion is that we can make either realistic or fantastical imaginative designs. We'll try a few options including denim and gold for plausible realism, and tune and 3D mosaic for our fantasy options. In the Objects panel, select the hoodie object and drag the denim fabric to the Render Mesh Visual Material 1 property. Now we can see that our denim fabric material is applied to our hoodie mesh. For fun, apply the other materials we've imported to see how they look on the hoodie. As cool as the Tune hoodie is, I think we'll stick with the denim for now. Let's edit the denim fabric on the hoodie and tweak it a bit to make it our own. Select the denim material to view it in the Properties Inspector. I'm going to choose a nice neon green color for mine, but go ahead and pick a color you like. You can also try adjusting the UV scale property of the material to change how the texture is scaled relative to the model. We'll max this out at 10 for now. The next step is to make sure that the 3D mesh is occluding our model's body correctly. Without proper occlusion, we can see that all parts of the 3D mesh are rendered on top of the model's body in the camera feed, including things like the inner hood, which realistically should be blocked or occluded by the model's face. We need to show Lens Studio which parts of the body should block which parts of the hoodie by adding occlusion. Let's add a new full body mesh in the Resources panel by clicking the plus icon and typing full body mesh in the search of the pop-up. This mesh will match the shape of the tracked person as opposed to our previous body mesh, which deformed pieces of their outfit based on the user's body. Let's name this Full Body Mesh Occluder. We'll add a new occluder material to our resources as well. In order to render the occlusion in our scene, we'll need a new mesh. So let's add a new empty mesh under the 3D Body Tracking 0 object where we previously added the hoodie. Rename it to Body Occluder. This occluder will follow and track our model's body, which makes sense since we want the body to block parts of the garment dynamically. Add the full body mesh occluder to the mesh property of body occluder and add the occluder material to its material 1 property. The full body mesh is dynamically resized to the dimensions of the snap chatter being tracked. Cool. Now we've got a neon green denim hoodie and fanny pack outfit that follows our model's movements and occludes their body correctly. In order to really sell the effect, let's improve our lighting using light estimation. Light estimation is a technique that allows our lens to try to match the lighting conditions it detects from the camera feed. This can make models appear to be lit correctly relative to the background they will appear in. Select the EnvMap object under the lighting object in our hierarchy. In the Properties Inspector, enable the Dynamic EnvMap option. Click the Input property and choose Device Camera Texture to enable your lens to estimate the lighting conditions based on the camera feed. The EnvMap exposure property should default to a value of 1. If it is less than 1 for some reason, reset it to 1 in order to ensure that your models will receive the optimal amount of ambient light. For extra credit, here are a few ideas for ways to improve your lens. Try adding some interactive features like swipe or head tilt gestures to try on other items. Make a voice-controlled color-changing hoodie using voice interaction. As you can see, the possibilities are huge. Drop a comment below with your own ideas for how to make this try-on lens even cooler. Thanks for watching.